Welcome to the Success Builders podcast. If you're an entrepreneur seeking motivation, inspiration, and real-world strategies to grow your business, you're in the right place. Here we believe success isn't a destination, it's a journey filled with golden nuggets of wisdom shared from one business owner to another. I'm Lizna Nel, a real estate agent, mentor, entrepreneur, and your host on this exciting path. In every episode, I'll bring you valuable insights from entrepreneurs who's been in the trenches, built their dreams, and are ready to share their secrets with you. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to new heights, this is your space to learn, grow, and connect. Let's dive in and build success together. Good day, all the success builders. We are extremely excited today to have Keegen Bain, an entrepreneur of note, as our guest here today. And I can't wait for us to deep dive into his mind, the way he does business, and how he grows business. Keegen, welcome.
Thank you very much, Lizna. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm super excited.
I am really excited to be here with you today. I am amazed by what you have done in your career this far, and also what you have got planned for the future. So I want to first just start off with a little bit of history. Tell us about you, tell us where you come from, and also about your different business ventures you've got going on at the moment.
So I'm originally from the northern suburbs. I stay in the Pluttercliff area. And I've been staying here pretty much my whole life. I went to school in Stellenbosch. I was in Boris Gymnasium. And my entrepreneurial sort of ventures started at quite a young age. I started my first business when I was 13, believe it or not. I had a car wash business, and I rented a little sort of high-pressure hose, and I would go around in the complex and ask people if I could wash their cars. So from a young age, did business cards, cut them out on A4 pages. So from a young child, I've always been extremely entrepreneurial. The first big venture started about 4 or 5 years ago when I started Beano Coffee, which is now become Beano Cafe, which was an incredible venture that we started actually quite blindly. And sometimes that's the best way to start, because that's where you learn all the things about business, you knock your head, and you grow from there. So we started actually as an external shop outside of the Planet Fitness chain, which we belong in now. With our first shop in the Pluttercliff area, we thought that there was a really big need for that. And that has evolved now to 5 shops nationwide. So we got some in Joburg, Pretoria, and within Cape Town. And we did that in a very short space of time, which was really interesting. Loads of ups and downs, loads of headaches. And because I don't come from hospitality, it was a very big adaptation. I originally started my first job in property. I worked for a very big real estate company in South Africa, which is extremely well known. And I've been in the industry for almost 9 years. So I only know real estate. And I thought, well, let me start the side hustle that then sort of really consuming me while working in real estate. So I was juggling multiple balls. And now I own 2 or 3 companies. I have my own property portfolio that I manage. I manage overseas clients' property portfolios. I now work in the luxury collection and started Bain International Realty, and I still have Beano Cafe. So
absolutely love it. You're such an inspiration. I mean, not to play on age, but it's not like you are an old guy. You are a young gentleman, and I just love the way your brain works, and also that you are an inspiration because you don't let anything stop you. I have personally loved watching you operate just in your various businesses and ventures, and even getting involved in charity. It's just a beautiful thing. I think with your love for fitness and your love for real estate, which you were kind of born and bred into. I know your family is also in real estate. Absolutely a beautiful story. And I just love how you take things on. And hearing that you were actually a born entrepreneur makes perfect sense to me, because I can see that in the way that you operate. Yeah. So I want to congratulate you first of all. And I think for anyone that does business with you would be always happy and just proud of the way that you work and that you operate. Your values are in the right place. And I think that's something that just comes with a natural born entrepreneur. So congratulations with taking this side hospitality venture. And then I know you've left that big real estate company and you've started Bain International, which there is a huge focus on the luxury market of property. And in Cape Town, you're in the right place. tell us a little bit about your career in real estate, but also your aspirations for Bain International as you move forward.
So real estate has always been a big passion of my family's and sort of my own. It's something that I love. And, I thought about shifting away from it and moving into hospitality, which I did. And I think it was always just a drawing factor. It always pulled me back. There was always, as soon as I thought, okay, well, let me, take on this venture, real estate brought me back. I would buy a property and renovate it and flip it, or it'd be this new development that we would need to take on. So it always had this rough drawing me back. And then I started realizing that I'm bloody good at it. I really did. There was a point that I was like, this is something that I love. I love working with people. I've been doing this a very long time, and how can I take this to a new level, and how can I get to a point where I could do easily 30, 40 years in this industry and really build an incredible name, incredible business, while changing people's lives at the same time. So for me, I feel like one of my biggest talents are to draw people together. And that's why the cafe was such a big drawing card, because, people come to sit down, they have a cup of coffee, they communicate, they chat, they talk about business, they talk about their lives. And I've always felt like it was a nice space to network. So why not just have my own? And that's how that sort of evolved. And then that sort of wheel just took over. And that's how we ended up with 5. But in saying so, real estate was always a way of using my real talents, which were sort of helping people find their dream homes, number one. And number two, the ability to build this new brand and this new age of real estate. And that's something that I really want to speak about. I think that for a long time, people felt like they needed to belong to these big brands. And I was one of them. When I started in the real estate agency, in the real estate market, that is what I believed. I believe that brand is important. And over the last 2 or 3 years, there is a massive shift in the market. I think over the last year or two in Cape Town, a massive shift. I believe people buy, people use people. They love to work with specific people. And I've always felt that for a long time, people would be drawn to a brand, but there's a shift and they're not being drawn to a brand anymore. They're being drawn to people. The way you act, the way you walk, the way you talk, how you present yourself, your professionalism, your work ethic. And that's always been something that I've been from day one very drawn to. And I've believed that over the last 8 years, it's paid off, and that was one of the biggest reasons why I decided to go on my own, because I felt that people weren't using me for my big brand. They didn't want to work with Keegen for my big brand. They wanted to work with Keegen because of Keegen. And I think that's a very important note to any real estate agent out there, any property practitioner that's thinking about it, is that the people that are using you and wanting you to sell their homes or do a valuation on your home is only based on the fact that you are the person they want and not necessarily your brand. So I found that gap in the market. I think that there is a massive gap in the market, and that's going to evolve over the next 5 to 7 years to absolute new heights. So that is why Bain International Realty was created, and as well as the supporting of EXP. Their platform is unbelievable, and it's ideal for an entrepreneur like myself to be able to build this brand within this brand while having the backbone, a platform that's actually indescribable. It's unbelievable. So for me, it was quite an easy transition, and I'm really happy that I made it. I've grown a lot as a person while working under EXP and sort of building the brand of Bain International Realty, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity that they could put that forth.
You touch on a couple of very good points there, Keegen. I think the first one, and I can hear you so passionate about it, is the fact that people do business with people. I always find as a real estate agent or a property practitioner that you are the brand, your face, like you said, the way you carry yourself, what you put out there, and also how you market. And I think this is such a fantastic thing because you're very savvy with your social media presence and with your online marketing and even the way that you present properties. I mean, we're talking about above 10 million rand properties in the luxury market, and the way that you present those properties online is absolutely beautiful. and it's hard to miss. So you've also made a note of like 2 or 3 things that you've learned and how you've grown. If you can give like 1 or 2 of the lessons that you've learned, or some advice that you can give to young entrepreneurs of the business world, and things that they need to consider, like save them a little bit of the school fees that you've paid. What do you think? I know it's hard to sum it up in 1 to 2 things, but what stands out to you that you can share with the young entrepreneurs out there?
I think in today's world, we live in a society where a lot of the younger generation feel like, business needs to come to them. It's just going to fall on your lap. And it's really not like that. Real estate is really hard. It's not an easy job. It sounds easy to just list a property and sell it and make a commission, but it's extremely difficult to list high-end properties, to handle and deal with clients of all different personalities, races, ages, regions. It's extremely difficult. So my biggest advice to anybody that wants to be in real estate, that wants to elevate themselves, that wants to be in business, that wants to start their own brand, work for a big brand, and I stick to this every day, you have to be resilient. Resilient is the word that comes to me. And why I say is that you cannot give up for 1 second. You have to be resilient, you have to be determined, and you have to absolutely never give up. And that's my motto. It's my family's motto. So it will always be dear to me. And that's what I think differentiates you from anybody else on the left and the right of you, is your resilience to ensure that you can list properties, that you can go out there and be hungry, go knock on the guy's door and say, "Hi, sir, how are you? I work in this area. Can I list your property?" Pick up the phone, call, ensure that you can lay a platform that people know who you are in the most respectable manner, as well as being resilient and never giving up. And I think that's what it comes down to.
I absolutely love that. That's actually a family value that you guys have learned since a young age, but also live by, because I think it is so important. We are a little bit in a generation where people do think things come easy. They just want to have that nice car and they want to have that great position or that success, but they don't realize the grind that needs to happen in order to get there. So I absolutely love that you bring that in. And then you say something that's very important in our society right now, with social media and everything happening in the palm of your hand on a daily basis. I heard when I was at the EXP Con, they spoke a lot about the best known will beat the best. And that's quite interesting, because we live in a world where you need to be known. People need to know who you are. And like you say, in a respectful manner. And I think you've got such a beautiful balance for that. You've got a presence, you've got an aura and a way about you that just connects with people. And I think that makes you such a great connector. And that kind of brings me to the next question. With these connections and with your business and all the lessons that you've learned, where do we see Keegen in 5 to 10 years from now? What are these businesses doing with regards to Beano Coffee and also Bain International, and maybe something else that you've got in the pipeline? Share a little bit with us where you're going with all of this.
So generally, I'm a big dreamer, and I actually listened to a podcast this morning that says, aim for the moon, reach for the stars, or reach for the stars, aim for the moon, one of those two. And it's true. I've always been a big dreamer. I've always pictured a sort of a Trump Tower. I call it a Trump Tower with my sort of name on it, or my family's name on it. So again, I would tell anybody out there to dream big. Don't ever think it's too big. It's never too big, And I think within the next 5 years, the goal would be to grow Bain International Realty into an absolute force to be reckoned with, young, dynamic, out there. I've always said I would love to find mini me's. It's tough. It's not an easy thing to do. You would know. You've built an absolutely incredible team, and you're a massive inspiration to somebody like myself. So for me to grow that team would be absolutely amazing. I really would like to build my own portfolio. I have a couple of properties on my books, which I'd like to grow. And then I would really like to focus on bringing international money over into South Africa. I have quite nice ties in the middle. So that would be a nice way of bringing over international luxury market and focus on luxury. It's a very difficult market to work in, but I enjoy it. It's something that is challenging for me, and I love a challenge. I'm very into sort of fitness and things. I'm an endurance athlete. Challenges are exciting for me. They push me and they drive me to new heights. And while doing that, and this is very important, while doing that is always to have, a giving hand. I like to give back to the community, and it's something that's very important to me. It gives me a lot of purpose, no matter how much success or how big you get or how much money you make or what car you drive. I think the ability to give back with open arms, you will receive tenfold back in return. So that's always something that I would like to do. So possibly have my own MPO. I think that's something that I would really like to have, a non-profit organization, build Beano into International Realty into an absolute force to be reckoned with a dynamic young team. Our team is already growing, so we really want to do that. It's grow that. And luckily, I've always enforced my other businesses to run themselves, which I'm very blessed for. I've got incredible staff, so they function on their own, and possibly open up a couple of more branches on the Beano side of things. But for now, to really focus on real estate and the future of real estate, because it's moving at a very swift pace. And if you don't keep up, you're going to fall behind.
Love it. I love your heart. I love how giving and inclusive you are. And I have got no doubt in my mind that those Trump or Bain Towers is going to be somewhere in your future. You actually just made me think of something that I have to share with you and the listeners. I think this is probably 20 years ago. I was young and just starting my professional career. And I actually read the biography of Donald Trump, which, I mean, he was nowhere any political figure at that stage. And there's one thing that I remember from that book, how books are, you read it and you learn and you take a lot in, but then there's one or two things that stick with you. So the one thing that really stuck with me that he spoke about in this book was the fact that he never gives up and he does not take no for an answer. So he would give an example of how he would call someone for something that he would want and they would say no to him. And the next day he'll call again and he'll say, but we need to discuss this more because I need to understand why you're saying no. And eventually he would just keep at it until that no becomes a yes. And it's been some of his best relationships in property mogul for us to look up to as well, let alone his political career. So when you said that, I immediately thought of that. And I think the other things that you've said plays into that as well, where you said the resilience and how you push things forward. It's a beautiful, beautiful story and the values that you live by. So one of the last things I want to ask you is if people want to reach out to you, if they've got beautiful luxury properties, in my mind, you are the person for them. But tell me, how can they reach out to you? Do you have specific platforms? We're going to be posting those at the bottom of this episode, but give us a little bit of the areas that you work in. I know you're based in Plattekloof, but I know you also work towards those lovely luxury properties, Sea Point, Green Point. So give us a little bit overview of who are those areas and people that we can look out for them to reach out to you.
So Bain International Realty is based in Plattekloof. We work in the luxury collection of Plattekloof that consists of Plattekloof 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we've got the new side of Plattekloof, which is your Baronetcy estate, coming down to Leopard Rock, Villa Capadero, Kleinmere, all the estates coming down to the Plattekloof center. So that's sort of my main luxury market. In saying so, working on the other side of the hill would be amazing. Welcome area, you've got Valkendag, Loewenstein, that high-end property area. And then going up to Sea Point, we've got a couple of listings there with regards to Airbnb apartments. So Sea Point, Green, Camps Bay, Mully Point is definitely the next space we would like to tap into. So that would be the areas. You can contact me on social media. It's Bain_International_Realty. We've got a Facebook page, Bain International Realty, and then you can contact me by email or on my cell number. And we'd love to have you on board. We love getting feedback and content from you guys, even if you just want to inquire on sort of property markets, where's the future of South African property or Cape Town property market going, anything on that spectrum, we'd like to assist you. So
love that, Keegen. One last thing, because we've got a minute or two left. I know you are heating off to an exciting trip next week, Friday, if I'm right. Tell us a little bit about that just before we say goodbye.
So I am heading out to Bahrain for my first 70.3 Ironman. Very excited. I've been in the CrossFit industry for a very long time, and about a couple of months ago, which is in January, I started with endurance training. And again, it's something that is challenging. It's something that you need to work hard for. It's many hours sitting on a bike, running on the road, swimming in a pool to try and, sort of achieve, in my opinion, greatness. I think anybody that's completed a 70.3 or an Ironman has completed something that is unbelievable. And I'm very excited for that. And I would like to leave something on this platform for all the listeners. Last thing I'd like to say is, somebody very special in my life once told me that you can't change the world, but you can change somebody's world. And what I mean by that is that giving somebody a little bit of money on the road, giving them some food, bringing people together to create a little bit of change can absolutely change one person's life. You're never going to be able to change the world, but you might be able to change 1 or 10 or 100 people's worlds. And that's the most important thing. So join us this Saturday. We've got a run coming up. It's a charity run. We have loads of sponsors. We've got giveaways, free Boerewors rolls, free coffee. It's all on the house. The entry fee is basically tin food and $100, and that goes to 2 of our very, very well-known MPOs, which give back and change many people's worlds. And I think that's what we all need to start implementing.
Keegen, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having you here today. I'm looking forward to us having a catch up in maybe next year, in a year's time, around this time, and just see everything that you've done and all the progress that you've made. I am so proud and so honored to be doing business with you and to be in a partnership with you in this world where we do business together. And I'm super proud of what you're doing and what you're achieving. Thank you for being here with us, and that beautiful message that you've just shared about changing one person's world. I will definitely remember that, and I'm sure our listeners will as well, and take that as a point or a topic of inspiration.
Thank you very much, Lizna. Thank you for having me. You're a massive inspiration to me. So thank you for all that you do. And thank you for having me on your show. It's been an absolute amazing experience. Thank you.
Absolutely love it. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Success Builders podcast. I hope you're leaving with fresh insights and a renewed spark of inspiration to take your business to the next level. Remember, success is built one step at a time, and we're here to walk that journey with you. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur who could use some motivation. And if you want to dive deeper or connect with me personally, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out on LinkedIn, Instagram, or visit liznanel.com to get in touch. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and keep chasing that success.